Hi guys, I just wanted to quickly kind of add on to my interpretation of this scene from 2 days ago and also join it on to the video I did yesterday about the Google Doodle. Now, I mentioned the 15th of July because the 15th is marked, or number 15 is marked down here with 5 tally marks on the X, and July for the 7 from Obama's perspective. But one of the things that I've interpreted in previous videos is that the 15 is connected to what looks like the letter C, and C is obviously the third letter of the alphabet, so that could be a numerical, a representation of the numerical number 3. So if you add those two together, you've got 18. And then obviously in connection with yesterday's video, the Google Doodle, I just wanted to kind of connect the two because I said it could be a reference, a more likely reference to July 2018, but it could also be July 18th, and that could be why the 15 is adjoined to the C there, which could be a representation of the number 3. As you can see it a little bit more clearly here, you can see that the X, which here forms part of the number 15, comes off of the tsunami wave when it's this way around, but a representation of the letter C when it's the other way around. So it's possible that that should be connected together, making 18-7, and that would be more coherent with the Google Doodle, which also could appear to be 18-7 or July 18th. Obviously the other thing as well is on Obama's forehead has been interpreted as the number 5 or number 22, but I'm looking at it as the number 5 here because 5 days after the 18th is the 23rd. So it could be possible that it's connecting in that way. Something happens on the 18th, and then 5 days later, something happens on the 23rd. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Tensions are soaring in the Atlantic as Russian submarines are on the rise, levels not seen since the Cold War, and that's something that Britain's been saying for the last couple of months, but now the US is joining in saying that. According to Admiral James Fogo, commander of US naval forces Europe and Africa, Russia is deploying more submarines to the Mediterranean, Black Sea and North Atlantic than ever since the Cold War. Russia is building this growing force in the Atlantic to be prepared for any future clash with NATO countries. So you can say, oh, it's just Russia preparing, but they didn't do that in 2017, 2016, 2015. It's 2018 where this level is increasing to beyond Cold War level, which is obviously a time when tensions were extremely high, and we're kind of back in that position. But instead of just having one country to worry about like Russia, you've got Iran and North Korea as well on the table. So there's a lot of potential for things going wrong. Obviously, you guys have probably heard the reports about North Korea continuing to develop their nuclear program. Iran starting up its nuclear program. So there is a lot of potential for clashes in the very near future. And on July 27th, so we've got July, all of the dates I mentioned before, they're still watch days, so don't change them. July 4th, 7th, 10th, 11th, 12th, for the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, 23rd, and now the 27th. So there's a good few days to watch. My real main focuses are really on July 15th, the 18th, now the 23rd, and also July 4th and 7th. So there's quite a few watch days, but as they go by, we'll be able to cross those off the list. So the longest total lunar eclipse of the 21st century is just a month away. This was published on June the 27th, so the total phase of the blood moon eclipse of July 27th will last 1 hour and 43 minutes. However, including the partial phases, the eclipse is actually going to last nearly 4 hours. So this is the longest eclipse that we've had in a century. That's 100 years. So none of us, I expect, would have been alive to see a lunar eclipse, a blood moon eclipse that has lasted that long, seems to have some sort of biblical reference there. You won't be able to see it in North America. It can be viewed from Africa, the Middle East, Southern Asia, and the Indian Ocean. So I'm not sure. I don't think I'll be able to see it over here in Britain either. But we'll be able to watch it on webcasts, probably a channel on YouTube. We'll stream that live, so you'll be able to watch it if you really want to. But it seems quite significant to have such a long blood moon, one that hasn't happened in over a century. So I thought I'd just bring that to your attention. But just to reiterate, the point of this video is to clarify that the LC scene and the Google Doodle from yesterday could be connected in terms of July 18th, if the 15th is meant to be adjoined onto the sea, which could be a representation of the number 3, then it could be July 18th that we're talking about here. That would correspond with the Google Doodle from yesterday, July 18th, a breakdown of the binary code that was used. Then Russian submarines in the Atlantic, obviously that's something we're watching. If something happens, for example, everything in the LC scene seems to be connected to Hawaii and the volcano. So if something happens around the 15th or 18th with the volcano, then I'll be very watchful 5 days later on the 23rd for anything to do with missiles. That could be potentially where we're seeing Russian submarines in the Atlantic. Something happens on the west coast in terms of Hawaii, then something happens on the east coast in terms of submarines. And that's a scenario that we've been looking at for the last year, and all these details are just helping to put it into context. And then we've got the blood moon on the 27th, the longest one of a century. So you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.